Last time, we covered Gohan's fight with King Cold, who surprisingly showed up on Earth much stronger than before. There was no Frieza, just him. But King Cold's not the only one who's been training to grow stronger. Gohan's also grown as well. And it seems he's just tapped into a brand new power. What is this new power going to be like, and how is it going to carry the story going forward? Let's discuss that and more in this part 8 of What If Gohan Trained Like Goku. The rest of the group finally arrives. Trunks, Videl, Piccolo, and Krillin are there. They could have sworn that they just saw a blinding blue light, but they couldn't sense anything. They know they can't sense Gohan's god form, but what was that? Piccolo assumes it was just a very powerful Kamehameha. Just as expected, Gohan was able to defeat King Cold. But Gohan says he has no clue what that was, and they never saw the form either. The only person to really see it was King Cold. All Gohan remembers was getting an insane burst of power, and his aura did change color too, to a bluish hue, but he doesn't know exactly what happened. Piccolo's absolutely dumbfounded. So he transformed and didn't even realize it? Krillin's kinda terrified to hear this, and Trunks thinks it's awesome. He really needs to get one of those god forms. So Videl questions what happened too. She asks Gohan if he could just show it off again, see if he knows how to access that same power that he had before. Granted, she has no clue how transformations work, but knowing Gohan as long as she did, she kinda has a gist of what goes on with it. She knows that there's some sort of weird sensation that goes with transforming, so she asks him, just try and recreate them. So Gohan goes Super Saiyan God, and then tries to recreate that same feeling again. It almost felt like going Super Saiyan, kinda. And this time when he tries to force it out, there's a weird shift. His hair changes golden. For a brief moment, his power goes down significantly, going into Super Saiyan. But then, his aura explodes. Once again, he's surrounded by that same blue aura, and his hair and eyes have turned blue as well. Piccolo theorizes what it is. It seems somehow Gohan tapped into the power of a Super Saiyan while a Super Saiyan God. It would explain why there was anger tied into it too. Gohan can't really maintain it for long, and then just transforms out of it. He also is a little bit tired out from the fight as well. But also the form seems hard to maintain. But the power within it, the others can't sense it, but they can feel the immense pressure with it. Gohan transforming alone almost blew them back and injured them, so they know it's something insane. And to make it even more insane, it's sensed all the way across the universe. On Beerus' planet, Goku and Vegeta are there. They were actually watching the fight go on. They knew that Gohan had it in the bag, but they didn't know he'd do that. They thought he'd just defeat King Cold as a Super Saiyan God. And it seems King Cold was stronger than they thought. He was training for a good amount of time though, and it seems that he has some crazy potential as well. But once they felt that transformation, they realized how truly strong Gohan has grown. It's incredible. The fact that they could sense it from here too, and it's not just them watching the Whis' staff, they could actually sense it. He went beyond Super Saiyan God somehow. Goku's really happy to see this. He wishes he can go back to Earth to see Gohan and just congratulate him in person, because that's awesome. But he needs to get that form next, and Vegeta's thinking the same thing. The good thing is, he has kind of an advantage. Unlike Goku, he could actually go to Earth whenever he wants, and he asks Whis, take him back to Earth right now. Wait, what? He's leaving? And Vegeta tells Goku, if he's going to access this form, he's got to go right to the source. Asking Gohan will probably be the best source of info for him. Even if Gohan doesn't really know how to access it, still, the fact that he could train with Gohan while he uses that form, that could be really helpful. And who knows, he might train on Earth for a bit too, just because Gohan's such a strong training partner now. Goku takes offense to this. Come on, Vegeta came all the way here and now he's abandoning him? That kind of bums him out. But since Goku's still dead, he can't really do anything about it. Beerus reminds Goku, he's lucky that he's here on the planet in the first place. But whatever, Goku punches his hand and smiles. Well, that'll just hype him up more than ever. It gives him more reason to just train harder and harder, to surpass Vegeta too. He won't let Vegeta get ahead of him. Besides, Goku can train as long as he likes. He doesn't need to sleep. So while Vegeta can train on Earth, Goku has this advantage. Vegeta eventually does arrive back on Earth with Whis. He is pretty glad to see how Trunks performed too, but more importantly, he needs to find Gohan. He wants to learn about that power. Whis leaving here and Vegeta says he'll contact them if he needs to go back. And Whis reminds him, just bring some good food next time too. Fine, whatever. Vegeta flies out and goes to Gohan's house. And when he arrives there, he sees Gohan training with Videl. And they're surprised to see Vegeta back. Didn't he go to that God of Destruction's planet? And Vegeta says he'll explain later. For now, he wants Gohan to come with him. He needs to train with him. So, the two of them find an open place to fight. Vegeta knows that new power is probably far beyond his. Hell, in Super Saiyan God, probably Gohan could beat him. Even with all his intense training under Whis, and all the great power and techniques that he got from that, he knows Gohan is still ahead, which is fine. He's accepted that. But he just wants to learn from it. Use this to make him grow. And he wants to see that power that Gohan's unlocked. And Gohan says he doesn't really have a great control over it, but he'll show it anyways, as he transforms into Super Saiyan Blue once more. Vegeta can't believe the sheer power, especially up close like this. Gohan has practiced it a bit. It's been a few days since they fought King Cold, so he's not really had too much of an opportunity, but still, he knows how to tap into it at will at least. I mean, it is Super Saiyan with Super Saiyan God after all. It's not too tough, but there's a stamina issue, a big one with that. But he knows he could work on it. They did the same with Super Saiyan. So they should be able to do the same with this. It's a little bit different because of the raw power from it, so it's a little bit harder to maintain, but they might find a way around it. There's a passage of time here now. Vegeta does stay on Earth, training with Gohan, while Goku continues training on Beerus' planet, as well as going around Otherworld and such too. More so the former. Since training under Whis, he can learn the most, and he can grow the strongest. Although at some point, Champa does arrive on Beerus' planet. And the Universe 6 tournament is set into motion, and this leaves Goku with the task of recruiting other fighters. Beerus does consider getting someone on the team just as motivation, like Monaka for example, but it seems they don't need it. Goku and Vegeta have a pretty intense rivalry here because Vegeta doesn't even really seem to care too much about Goku, he's more so focused on Gohan. Although, the two really do care about surpassing each other, or at least one staying ahead of the other. They know that Gohan's probably going to be the stronger one, with Goku obviously being very proud of that. But as for the two of them, it's a pretty fierce competition since both of them have very different training methods, and both have their own upsides and downsides for their training. So Beerus thinks maybe Goku doesn't really need it, especially because his training so far has been pretty fruitful. Although, if Goku's going to recruit some other people for the tournament, he's kind of going to need to go to Earth, which is an issue. Fine. Beerus hates allowing this, but he allows Goku to go to Earth again. And this time it's great because Goku actually has a few days there. He has to recruit people after all, and he does want to train there for a bit as well. So once again, Goku temporarily returns thanks to Beerus and Whis pulling some strings and letting him go there. Goku honestly doesn't have a great team in mind. He just has Gohan and Vegeta in mind. But they recommend two other fighters themselves. Trunks is one of the other ones, because Vegeta really wants to see how he's grown. This is going to be a great opportunity for him to fight. Trunks has been training with them from time to time. Even though he doesn't have Godly Ki, he's growing a lot stronger. He has Super Saiyan 2 and is working on surpassing that. He's much stronger than the Trunks that we see in the main story. And even when Vegeta did leave, he's always been training with Gohan and Piccolo. And as for Gohan, he recommends putting Videl on the team. She hasn't really had a good fight, so this would be a good way to test out her power. Goku's honestly not too sure because she's just a regular human and she kind of started later on than everybody. But Gohan promises that she's grown pretty strong. It's kind of like I mentioned before, we're going with the idea that Videl kind of has a lot of potential because in the main series, she did grow pretty quickly as a fighter. So here the same thing happens. It's not like she's going to be on their level, not even close. She's still going to be the weakest on the team, but by human standards, she's going to be very strong. And that's exactly why she's going to be one of the other members of the tournament. At Gohan's request mainly. And one of the other great things about Goku coming to Earth is the fact that he could use the Room of Spirit and Time. The best part is, he doesn't age in it. He can go in pretty much as long as he likes. Although there's a few interesting things in here. For one, they've never actually been in before. Goku still did go in as a kid, but they never went in during the Cell Saga because there was no Cell Saga and there was no reason for them to go in there. Goku was already dead by then anyways. But another change here is the fact that Kami's still around. There's no Dende. And they never think to upgrade the Room of Spirit and Time because there's no need. So they just have 2 years in there. And as for Goku, he has about a year and 11 months. And all three of them can head in at once. It's pretty intense, but especially at their level, they're able to adapt pretty quickly and go to the more intense parts of the room. As long as they bring in enough food for 3 people for 2 years, that should be enough. Goku has to leave a month early, but the other two stay in as long as they need, growing a lot stronger. And the 3 of them all have a good gauge of each other's strength. Gohan's definitely the strongest. All 3 have Super Saiyan Blue by now, and Gohan has the best control on it. But Goku and Vegeta took different methods of getting there, obviously. And this tournament will be a great way to test what they're doing with it. And as for the order of the tournament, we'll put Videl, Trunks, Vegeta, Goku, and Gohan as the order. Which kind of bums Gohan out because if he fights last, there might not be anyone to fight, but they want to save the strongest for last anyways. The first fight is Videl versus Vitamo, and this is a great way to show how much Videl has grown. She has constantly been training, besides the brief period where she was pregnant and did have to raise Pan for a bit, and obviously some other responsibilities. Basically her main hobby is training with Gohan. See, that's one thing Gohan doesn't struggle with here. Time management is not an issue. He knows how to manage his time between work, family, all his other responsibilities, and training, of course. And it's the same for Videl. Mr. Satan doesn't even realize how strong Videl is. He's just glad his daughter's trying to train to surpass him, even though it might not happen. But he doesn't know it already has. In her fight with Vitamo, he definitely is pretty strong, but she's able to figure out a way to actually ring him out. Being a pretty smart fighter as well. The best part is she has a bunch of different techniques now. Gohan picked up a ton of techniques, from Goku, Krillin, Piccolo. Pretty much anyone around him, he picked up a technique from them. Whatever he could learn, he decided to learn it. And that rubs off on Videl too. So she's able to defeat Vitamo. It's a pretty good showing for her. And next she's up against Frost, which is kind of an issue. Frost is pretty powerful. And even without the poison here, and probably even without transforming, he could beat her. Which is fine, she's just glad that she got to fight at least. Trunks is up next, and he's actually able to defeat Frost. He looks exactly like that King Cold guy they just fought. He's heard about Frieza but has no clue what he looks like, and the others see that he's the spitting image of Frieza. But Trunks automatically assumes, hey, it's King Cold again. Or at least someone like him. Little did they know, he actually is a villain like King Cold, even if he tries to not be. But Trunks doesn't coax him to transform or anything, he just goes Super Saiyan and tries to defeat him as quick as possible. Which is pretty easy. Next, Trunks is up against Vegeta. And at first he has a really tough time, but come on, it's Trunks. I feel like he'd come up with an insult accidentally, and he inadvertently eliminates Vegeta that way. Whis doesn't even need to tell him to insult Vegeta. And Vegeta watches on with pride. That's his son. He's a strong Saiyan warrior, and he can be an ass when he needs to be. And with Vegeta defeated, next Trunks has to face Kappa. Interesting. A Saiyan from another universe. Of course, Trunks isn't going to try to teach him Super Saiyan. He's surprised to see that Kappa doesn't have Super Saiyan, but he doesn't really have any incentive to teach him, and it's not like he would be a great teacher either. I mean, he's the youngest of the Saiyans here in Universe 7. Well, besides Pan, in terms of the fighting Saiyans at least, you know what I mean. Point being, he's probably not going to offer to train, and even if he did, he probably wouldn't know how to train Cabba best. But they have a pretty nice fight. Trunks wins, and Cabba doesn't learn Super Saiyan. And Trunks is feeling pretty confident. He just defeated 3 people in a row. This next guy shouldn't be a problem. But it's Hit, and Trunks has no chance against Hit. Vegeta might actually have a shot against him though. Vegeta's grown incredibly powerful. He and Goku are basically neck and neck. Their different trainings have helped him in different ways. Goku does train for longer because he doesn't need to sleep. He's been training constantly under Whis. But as for Vegeta, he actually was able to unlock Super Saiyan Blue earlier on because by training with Gohan, it did help him a bit in terms of understanding it because Gohan already having it allowed the two to work off each other. Their minds working together allowed Vegeta to unlock it sooner. I would say Goku has more raw strength than Vegeta. And after the 2 years of training in the time chamber, they're pretty close. But Vegeta has had Super Saiyan Blue for slightly longer. And with every day that passes, the gap narrows even more because Goku could do more training. But Vegeta probably has a better control because he had a few months of a head start. Although, another thing to note is that in the time chamber, Goku never needed to sleep, so he did get some extra time training in there as well. So even though he lost a month, he gained all that extra time from not sleeping. Anyways, brief tangent aside, Vegeta's fight with Hit goes pretty well actually. It might go a little bit similar to normal, and in the end, I feel like Vegeta would still lose, but still, he was able to learn a little bit about Hit, and allows Goku and Gohan to observe. But if he couldn't handle Hit, he wonders how the other two can. The next person up against Hit is Goku, and he tries to work out more of Hit's techniques, basically trying to get as much info out of him as possible. And just from how Goku is, he could do this naturally. He doesn't need to pry that info out of Hit, he just gets it by observing, basically like he did originally. Although, he actually ends up losing the fight here. He doesn't have Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken either, so it's not like he's holding that back. He just ends up losing, which surprises everybody. Okay, well, they still have Gohan at least. But Gohan's been observing. He's figured out all of Hit's movements, or at least the telltale signs for what he's doing, and exactly what his techniques are, he's not really too sure. But he kinda has an idea of how they work, and maybe has a way around them. Gohan can employ a multitude of techniques here. Besides his raw strength, he's a very skilled fighter. And unlike Goku and Vegeta, he has way more knowledge on Hit because he got to watch their fights with him. With a combination of smart strategy, pure power, and a God to Blue switch, he's able to actually find a way to trip up Hit's movements. And he's actually able to defeat Hit, just as Goku expected. Beerus is kind of panicked there, and Goku seems really calm, and Beerus asks why he's so calm about that. They almost just lost their entire planet. But Goku says he wasn't worried. He knew Gohan had this in the bag. And then Beerus realized what he means. Don't tell him. Did he purposefully throw the match? And Goku gets all defensive. He says he figured out how to defeat Hit, and he just wanted to see how Gohan did it. But Beerus berates him. They could have lost their entire planet for that. What if that didn't work and Gohan didn't see through it? Beerus is pissed that Goku did this, but Goku just knew that Gohan would win, and look, it came true. He was that confident in Gohan, and it worked out. Besides, he did know how to beat Hit anyways, and Gohan's stronger than him, so it's pretty obvious that Gohan could do it too. Beerus is infuriated that Goku gave him that scare. And seeing this performance, he's glad to actually see Gohan's skill, and he probably wants Gohan to train with those two as well. It could be good to have Gohan on the planet, but something more frightening for Beerus is when Zeno shows up, with all of that stuff pretty much going like normal. And then following that, there's nothing with Zamasu. There wasn't any time travel in this scenario, and since there's no reason for Gohan to meet Zamasu either, that's not going to happen. He's not going to go out of his way to meet him, and Zamasu won't go out of his way to do his plan. Really, the only thing that would anger him is if he somehow saw the fight in GodTube, which is more of Gowasu's thing anyways. Zamasu probably wouldn't even come across it, and even if he did, really the only annoying thing would be Hit, I guess, and the Saiyans using God forms, but that's not going to be enough for him to lash out. Sure, he's going to harbor these evil thoughts, and the Zero Mortals plan might come into his mind, but there's not going to be really anything to push him towards actually acting on it like in the main story. Hopefully Gowasu can at least rehabilitate him, but it seems for now, Zamasu's not going to act on anything. But from this arc, Beerus is actually able to get Gohan to come to his planet. He thinks that Gohan might be the best shot at his rival. I mean, he was the one to get that Super Saiyan God form after all. At least first. And with him being ahead of the other two, it really does intrigue Beerus. Goku is getting very strong by the day. Being dead really does have its benefits. And now Gohan's on a new path, training under Whis. Although he's not really on the planet too often. He might go for a weekend here and there, but unlike Goku and Vegeta, he's not going to be there constantly. Which kind of irks Beerus, but he's glad to at least see Gohan here, sparring with the other two. Not to mention, with Gohan going between the planets so much, he has to bring a new piece of food each time, so that's pretty nice for Beerus and Whis. And Gohan does like going here because it gives him more opportunity to see Goku as well. Not just for training, but it's good to just see him, since it's really the only way to go there. Of course, Beerus and Whis can pull strings and get Goku on Earth when they really do need it, but Beerus is being really uptight about it, so if Gohan really does want to see him, his best bet is going there. So it's got some pretty nice benefits to it. And that's basically that first half of Super. Without anything with Zamasu happening, everyone just continues their training in their normal lives. But soon enough, we're going to be going to the Tournament of Power, and this is where we'll leave off for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next time? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you want to see more parts of the series or if you just want to help support the channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.